All aboard. Sorry, just some disheartening news I got, so I'm not exactly in the mood to go for high energy, bright colors, or love and funny brothership at the moment. So I'm wanting to go through the patch notes that I've missed in FF14 instead. So let's see where the story goes post Dawn Trail, essentially, which I think is what we're in at the moment. Sorry, cords are getting underfoot. And also, I believe we have a new tribe introduced that I can work towards. And also a new alliance raid based on older FF14 Final Fantasy content. But there's that. So there's that, but I don't know if it's actually part of the plot or if it's the main plot, that is, or side plot. It's just going to take longer to start up, I think, because the more patches this game gets, the longer it takes. The more likely I could have a fatal crash at some point as well. Actually, you know what? I better lessen those chances. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Yeah, just close that screen. I've also been slowly plugging away at my levels for classes. It just I don't know. It's just I don't remember if it was this hard for me like post Endwalker, but it just feels like it's slower and or more. I'm just finding it harder to find the motivation for it, especially when I have other things that I also need to work on grinding up, bringing up to speed, so on and so forth. Like, all my tank jobs are at least done. Samurai has been finished. Machinist. I think I just have Dancer, Viper, and Ninja left. And it's been going, I want to say it's actually been going faster since I've been using duty support instead of, like, actually, like, queuing up. Because I get into it instantly, I have NPCs that are, at least, for the most part, steady, and if not, like, more powerful like players would be. And I also don't have to deal with, like, their connections or them being assholes or DPS thinking that they're tanks. And, of course, wait times. Yeah, Samurai, Machinist. It's Dark Knight, Gunbreaker, and Paladin. Right. Oh, Red Mage, too. I forgot about that. I also got extremely disappointed that a lot of the Vanguard gear actually just looks like the Solution 9 civilian wear, and it's just like, I didn't want that. I wanted, like, mech suits for everyone, for all classes, but no, apparently that's just not how it works. Well, anyway, where's the plot going? Down there? Back to the old cabin, eh? And also there's that, Intrepid New Enterprise, and Otherworldly Encounter. And Otherworldly Encounter is probably where the, what the Alliance content is. intrepid new encounter might be the tribe. Which, I suppose, in a way, could help with grinding. Or at the very least, make it different. Ah, it is a pleasure as always. Have you been able to relax lately? Not really. Wonderful. As busy as you have been with the rite of succession, among other things, you deserve an opportunity to experience Tuyolol at a more leisurely pace. Sampling the tacos at Zabalia Teas is one way to, such a way to do so. Everybody goes on and on about the tacos. Give me a quesadilla. They've made the traditional way and laden with fillings and are absolutely sublime. If you have an empty stomach, the owner, Buruk Evu, will look after you. Oh yes, also all the other, like, class missions have been done as well. Got those finished up. Aside from healer, because I have no healers. We talk about tacos as much in this expansion as how does Malasada in Sun and Moon. I see. If you have a hankering for tacos, then they're on the house. Consider a token of gratitude for your help tracking down those treasures. I'm a protagonist. My stomach is infinite. You do not want to do that. Go ahead and find a table. Bring you your meal as soon as it's ready. Again, these really do look more like quesadillas. Because it looks like they're made with tortillas. You still love tacos, I hope? Heh, you ate so many when you turned 5, you could barely move afterwards. Remember that? What the hell is this about? No, not really. That was 30 years ago for me. Ah, yes, I see. They're trying to acclimate getting back together. Right, sorry, it's still strange for me too. Just the other day you were a little boy clinging to your mother's skirt as you set off for Yasulani, and now you're a man grown with a face full of hair. Even so, I knew you were my son the instant I saw you. We're still family, you can always rely on me. Well, at the very least you got a young dad. Relying, that feels like the only thing I'm doing right now, on you and everyone else. I can't even start a fire without assistance at my new job. Back in Alexandria, we had Electrope. If I needed fire, all I had to do was press a button. Everything was at our fingertips. But here, I'm helpless. A culinarian who can't even light the stove. The way the others in the kitchen stared at me? Gods, I've never felt so embarrassed. I'm sorry to hear that. I've been told the tales, but it seems life is really different within the dome. My wife and children, I was thinking I'd have them join me once things had settled, but at this rate... If they turn that salsa into cheese dip, I would absolutely be devouring those chips. I say you send for them. If they're your family, then they're mine too. I'll do whatever's necessary to make it work. Didn't mean to overhear, but it seems you're having trouble readjusting to life in Tuyolol. Val Wuklamat? To aid folk like yourself, we've established a support group at the Wing of Reflection. There you can learn the skills you need to live outside the dome. It isn't easy being back, I know, but I'm hopeful that they can make things easier. That's exactly what I need. I'll definitely seek this out. I'll bring my family with me. Thank you. Always makes me think of Rayman 3. Combat fatigues! That's exactly what we need! You're right! Uh-oh, I'm about to get dragged into something, aren't I? Oh, look who it is. I was just about to go and find you. Well, yep, I am. You don't mind the company, I hope? I could use a bite to eat myself. You eat everything. Sorry. Just working on my back. Ah, the tacos here never disappoint. So what have you been up to lately? Well, my trusty alpaca? Hell no. Catching up on sleep? I wish. Working to recover stolen artifacts? Did I do that? Yeah, this seems about right. Oh, as I understand, that wrestling plotline has not progressed at all from this patch. Didn't have to wait longer for that. You're fighting in the arena in Alexandria? By facing off against tough opponents, I'd wager you've honed your skills even further. If I hone them any more, I'll shred every scabbard I've put in. As for myself, I've been kept busy with duties at the palace, but whenever I find a moment, I'd like to walk the streets and talk to the people. That way I can better understand the problems they have and share them with Kona to figure out solutions. I was on one such walk just now, and as I mentioned, I was hoping to find you. I will not be part of your support group. Kona and I have something we want to discuss with you as Dawn Servants. Do you have time to come to the palace? Great, I'll go on ahead. Please come and join us once you've finished here. Get running. It's a ways off, for whatever reason. I wonder if they ever thought about shrinking the throne down to their sizes. Is an honor. Val Kona has stepped away to attend a pressing matter, but he should join you within before long. Ah, I see the rest of us are gathered here as well. Oh, you're all here too? Val Kona summoned us, though if truth be told, Alpha and I have been seeing him quite regularly of late. He asked us to share our knowledge of Hanish culture, you see, in hopes of further strengthening your alliance. We were, of course, happy to oblige him. Ah yes, Vitra. Kral and I were likewise summoned, otherwise we'd been carrying on with our work, compiling information on the Golden City. What for? It's dead. My grandfather embarked on his investigation 20 years ago. With our report, we shall finish what he started. God, these earrings are big on me. Lest you wonder, Thancred and Urianger have left to resume their tour of Tyrell. Oh yeah, they're just being tourists. Ishtola, meanwhile, is back to researching cross-rift travel. She was here just a few days ago to get Koana's permission to investigate living memory. And Astidian is lost, isn't he? By the way, she mentioned wanting to take a look at the key in your keeping at some point. Yeah, that's fair. If the look she had in her eyes was any indication, I suggest you brace yourself for when she comes calling. You're like to be stuck with her for a while. She has a look, but she can't look. As for Astidian, we know neither where he is nor what he is doing. Some things never change. Yup, he's lost. And probably spending way too much money. My apologies for the delay. Think nothing of it, we took advantage of the time to catch up. So what can we do for you? Hopefully present company is enough for whatever it is you need. The matter for which I have summoned you pertains to Alexandria. A state funeral will soon be held in Solution 9 to mourn the passing of Queen Sphene. Gulul Jah and his admin have invited us to attend. While certain issues remain unresolved between our nations, such as the treatment of Yasulani, I see no reason not to attend. But I helped kill her, though. Should I really go? For generations, the Alexandrians lived without even the awareness of death. I wouldn't have expected them to have funeral rites still. Apparently the members of Oblivion unearthed records of ceremonies that were conducted in the Alexandria of old. It was they who put forth the proposal that the queen be thus honored. Leave it to that lot to think of such things. People of Alexandria no longer forget the departed. They're being confronted with the idea of death for the first time. I suspect our friends wanted to do something for them. Though Sphene was but a simulacrum, she was nonetheless a pillar for her people. The pain of her passing must run deep. And again, I don't think it's good that her killers should actually be there. Indeed, a funeral will give Alexandrians the chance to come together to express their grief that they might overcome it. Or be consumed by it. I wasn't sure at first, but I've decided to go. Not only to be there for Gulul, but to put this chapter behind us. That I requested your presence was none other than to see if you wish to attend the funeral. You knew Sphene as well, after all. Did we? Did we really? I mean, I really don't think I should, but it'll make me anyway. I guess you consider yourself responsible for her demise, I take it. But that's not a burden you bear alone. Yeah, you interrupted. Which I understand a lot of people are actually kind of angry about. And also that the voice actress had to, like, redo her lines for that scene or something, which is what this patch put in. Here's my idea. As vow, I'll attend the funeral as a representative to Yulol. Meanwhile, you can go in a personal capacity and watch over the people as they mourn. Yeah, that's fair. No, I don't know where these yawns are coming from. I feel the rest of us should go too, regardless of the reason. The fact remains that we deprived Alexandria of a beloved ruler. It's only right that we remember who Sphene was to her people and to others, so let us stand with you. When it's decided, let's head to Solution 9 and look for Gulul in the back room. I forgot how good this armor looked. Crossroads. Was there anything actually new in here, though? Just as side stuff? Nope, not at all. Let me through, bouncer. Oh, dadgummit. There we go. Ah, you came for the funeral. Of course, I'm the only one who will officially take part, though. The others will watch over the proceedings. So how have you been? It's been a while since my last visit. I'm good. Shayla's always teaching me new things. Recently, I've learned about Everkeep systems and the mechanical soldiers. It's knowledge I'll need to use my authority properly. I feel like I've got extra gunk in my left eye. Use my glasses. I probably should have wiped them off beforehand. Studious as always, I see. By way of a treat, I've brought you gâteau au chocolat. It's a kind of cake. I think you'll like it. Thank you, Lamati, and thank you for coming. I've never been to a funeral before, so I feel less nervous having you here. Out of curiosity, what's the custom in Alexandria? In our world, it's common to offer flowers to the departed. We disembowel and burn them. It's much the same here, according to the records. Flowers will be distributed to all attendees. Considering that all the worlds used to be one, the practice of offering flowers may very well share the same ancient origin. Fascinating, wouldn't you say? I don't know. Maybe in one reflection they placed mushrooms on top and let them eat the corpse. Fish, Hazah, Mesquite. I'll take the fish. It's cute. The flowers are being handed out at Praxis Park. I'm thinking of heading over there now. We'll join you. There's a man I'd like to speak with, Gossin. He was apparently Speed's aide and the one who sent us the invitation. Come on, let's go. I don't remember a Gossin. I'm willing to bet. This is probably going to be a trap. Couldn't I? Yeah, I could. I think I had tank gear that looked like that once upon a time. Why, you're... Oh yeah, this guy definitely looks like someone who would try to take revenge. And vow Wuklamativ to Yololo. Thank you for extending us an invitation to Queen Sven's funeral. We are honored, truly. I had seen you before from a distance, but never had the pleasure. I'm Gossin, former chief aide to the Queen. Since her passing, I have been responsible for administering affairs of state. Can we get our flowers here? Yes, Your Majesty. The flowers are being handed out at the counter yonder, alongside the regulators. What? We need to write regulators for the funeral? Ah, rest assured they are not a requirement. We're aware your people do not use them. You see, people in the Alexandria of old wore tokens of mourning upon their persons when attending funerals. As such tokens were black, it was suggested that we might wear regulators painted the same color. Oh yeah, I see it. We've yet to produce enough for everyone, but we're distributing them as we are able. Yeah, that sounds like something that would be used for trap usage. Yet regulator or no, the important thing is that we remember Queen Sven. Remember her and her kindness as you make an offering of your flower. I'll remember her for always being secretly evil. The proceedings will soon begin in this plaza. Please take your place once you have your flower. You didn't have a full picture of her anywhere? Oh, these poor people can't even see. Ha! Uh-oh. Don't do that again, OBS. Hey, my weapons are off for once. That's exceedingly rare. Maybe a trap won't happen
Although
here.
we are gathered here for the same reason, we hail from different lands. Some were born and raised in the Alexandria of old, while others came to us from Tuliolal. It was from this union of diverse peoples that a new Alexandria was born. The only home that our younger generation knows.
Yeah, diverse peoples, and yet I'm still the only Aura here.
How did we overcome the barriers between us? What moved us to join hands in common purpose beneath crackling skies? You know the answer. We survived. We thrived because Queen Sphene brought us together.
Yeah, I disagree.
Inspired and encouraged by her boundless kindness, we strove to be better, for ourselves as well as those around us. And in Her Majesty's absence, there is a sadness beyond words. Yet we must. We will remember her. Remember all the good that she has done for us.
Could you at least attach that thing to your actual head instead of having it float?
So let us pray, as the people of the Old Kingdom once did, for the peaceful repose of the departed.
You know, in order for that to happen, you should probably release the souls that you still have captured.
And let us keep our beloved queen forever in our hearts, that her memory might guide us unto the morrow.
My ears.
Would that I could find solace in my own words.
Careful, the mic might pick you up from that. Huh. Oh, they were reaching back for their flower. Can barely see up to it. Ah, that reminds me, it was raining earlier today, so if there are any connection problems, well, that's Charter being a dumbass. should hope it's just Charter. Could just as easily be Charter and OBS colluding.
Was Queen Sphene taken to the cloud?
On the 5G
She must
network.
have been. To still remember her is strange, isn't it, darling?
I miss her. She would always cheer me up when I was down. But even though I remember her, I'll never see her again. That doesn't make sense.
You are a very stupid child.
It seems that's what it means to die, I'm afraid.
But what will happen to us? Are we just going to be sad forever?
Ugh. This is so blunt and on the nose, I think I've got a nosebleed.
Everything that we have, we owe to Queen Sphene. How are we to go on without her?
I still remember Her Majesty so clearly. If only I didn't, I might feel better about the future of our realm.
Oh my god, you stupid, stupid people.
Perhaps we should also consider moving to Tuliolo. The journey won't be easy, but it'd be better than staying here in uncertainty.
Wow, this feels surprisingly relevant.
In times like these, I take comfort in the beliefs of a Turali people called the Yokui. To them, death isn't the end. So long as we're remembered, we never truly die.
Coco.
It could be the same for Queen Sphene, you know? If you keep her alive in your hearts, she'll always be with you.
I don't understand. I'm gonna be sad forever.
But we still won't be able to see her, right? I don't want to think about that.
Ay, 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 there's no winning with this stupid child.
I wish I could just forget instead of having to feel like this.
Then go ahead, forget. Be less human.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to impose.
Bug.
Please, mourn your queen however you see fit. As expected, they struggle to come to terms with their loss. I hope they can find a way to move forward.
It's not only grief that weighs on them, but worry for the future. Bereft of their queen, how will they proceed?
True. But with that at least, we're not powerless to help. What is it, Guloja?
I was wondering, is it better to remember or forget someone when they're dead? I remember my father, and every time I think of him, it hurts. It's the same with Queen Sphene. Knowing that she's gone makes me feel sad. But it's different with my mother. I never knew her, so I don't feel as bad.
That's called ignorance, not forgetfulness.
I want to remember my father, but maybe I'd be better off forgetting him.
Guloja.
Why don't we continue this somewhere else?
I saw him there. Very few flowers. Yeah, I don't like that it was focusing on those. There's definitely something different about them other than being black. I see a regulator, I want it painted black. Hey, Gulul, do you really know nothing at all about your mother? Shale searched the system for information on residents, but the only Mamul she found listed were my father and me. Even if she died and was erased from people's memories, she should have been there, but she wasn't. Well, that you are here means she was here too, inside the dome. There can't be any other way about it. Easy, she never had a regulator and died before getting one. You want to know your mom? I think so. Even if it makes me feel sad, I want to know her. So I want to try looking again, and if I don't find anything this time, I'll give up. I see. Well, if that's what you want. Then I'll help you. You're hopeless with computers, Wook. I'd like to help as well, but I believe I speak for the others, too. But I can't bother you with this. You already came for the funeral. We came here not only for the funeral, but to see whether all was well in Alexandria. We're not about to leave just yet. Besides, in seeking to learn about your mother, we're bound to learn about your father as well. By retracing the steps of this man who kept his own counsel, we may gain knowledge that can serve the people of Alexandria. Alright, thank you everyone. I deserve more money. Assuming neither memories nor records of Gulul's mother remain, we must cast as wide a net as possible. I suggest we split into groups. If you can make some inquiries outside in the outskirts, the rest of us will do the same in Solution 9. It's too bad we don't have our favorite knight to ask anymore. Sorry, but I've never heard of a Mamulja woman living in these parts, much less one connected to Zeral. You might have better luck talking to the people over in Tanatawan, a settlement in north of Everkeep, in a place called You. The resilient son won their loyalty when he saved them from some crisis or another, or so the story goes. If I remember correctly, their chief's name was Kanilaka. Oh, Kanilaka. Walking is for chumps. You're looking for a Mamulja woman? Oh, Galul's mother. I can't help you there, I'm afraid. I only know a little about Zeral, and only then what my father told me. He said that before the dome cut us off from the outside world, a Taral Vidral had appeared and was terrorizing the region. In response, Zeral assembled a party of warriors, and with them confronted and felled the beast. It was interesting to hear of the king's feats in the past. There we go. A Mamulja woman? Their people have never been a common sight around here, and mine either, apparently. Why, the last time I saw one, it would have been before the dome came down over our heads. She was among an entourage of Landsguard that was dispatched here. I assume they all returned to Tulilolol after their mission. But if any remained, I suppose they could have been trapped in here with the rest of us. Really? Back to there? Tink, 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 tink. Getting to the back room. Alright, fine. Making up the coke. Jeebus cripes. Ghoul has told me all. We previously tried to track down records of his mother, but came up empty-handed. With everyone's help, hopefully we can get somewhere this time. There you go. Testimony. Ah, so you spoke with quite a few different people as well. Let's combine all our findings and see what conclusions we might draw. I gotta warn you, I'm not much of an artist. So Zoral brought a retinue of Landsguard to Yasulani, among whom was a female Mamulja. His mission was to rid the region of its Ural Vidral, and I believe it is safe to say that was the crisis in you he resolved. If some of his troops stuck around for a time, perhaps to assist the villagers with recovery efforts, then they could have indeed gotten trapped in the dome. We also heard stories about the settlement in Yu. People lived there until nearly a decade ago, and Zoral made regular visits. If he required secrecy, a location home to his most loyal followers would be ideal, and if this Mamulja woman had remained there, they would have had occasion to come in contact. I see, but what could Zoral have been doing in that village? Getting his freak on. I think we can answer that question. In order to retrace Zoral's steps, Raha and I spoke with a researcher who worked at Origenics. He said that approximately 20 years ago, a number of his colleagues were transferred to a research facility outside Everkeep, per the King's direct order. I have itches all over for popping up all over for whatever reason. This is the first I've heard of such a facility. That didn't help. Only Vanguard was believed to have been under the King's jurisdiction. It was apparently being used to develop a new kind of weapon, but I'm afraid that was all we could learn. It's planned to go on, even if the work there was classified. Any materials and equipment needed would have been manufactured within Everkeep. So if we look into transportation records... There it is. The routes are full of detours and attempts at obfuscation, but large deliveries are being made to you, far too large for a mere village. There hasn't been any activity for years, though. It's likely the facility has been decommissioned. Do you think that's where my mother was? We can't say for certain just yet, but I reckon there's a good chance. Maybe we could find her bones. This is amazing. Even though no one remembers her, you managed to figure all of this out. Each piece of the puzzle may reveal little on its own, but when we put several together, a picture begins to form. And even should memories fade, footprints remain to mark the path of those who walked before. A lesson I learned in another life. So we'll be investigating the secret facility in Yu then. And this time, I want you to come along, Gulul. U is on the other side of the lake. To get there, you'll need to take a hover cargo from the drift downs. Alright, thank you, Shale. Is going to be a new duty? Ah, right, forgot about the wall. Nope. Not too many times. So the hover cargo will take us across the lake. I've never been over there before. It's still inside the dome, so I don't expect it'll be too different from here. We'll likely encounter dangerous beasts, so the rest of us will go first. You follow when it's safe to do so, alright? Alright, be careful, everyone. Yep, it's a duty. Yep. Huh. I wonder if this will have better gear than either what I'm currently wearing, or just better jewelry than the Epochal. Well, it could certainly do with replacing my Origenics ring. Yeah, but these Neo Kingdom items are definitely not getting replaced.
Let's give it our all.
Alrighty then, gonna be back to tanking it. I've been a ranged DPS for a very long time. Well, it's a lot lusher than I expected. Everything looks electrified. Tank up. Length and get to my sword magic.
I have you.
Should have turned that. I should have used that earlier. Kick. I'm always targeting the wrong one somehow.
Take that!
Bonk. Forest back and a wool back. There's no wool on that thing's back, I can tell you that. magic.
You underestimate me!
That was a lot. I've gotten a good look at the bats right now, and they're ugly. Bonk. Bonk. Sheesh. Moving. Yo, another big one. Kick. Bonk.
Try this!
Now, hold on, let me use my atonement. Supplication. And sepulcher.
We mustn't hold back.
I wasn't. I don't know about you, though. So, I believe at this point we should be meeting the first boss. Yep, there it is. Lindblom Zagna. Oh my god, that mouth and those... Jesus Christ. It's like one of those old elephants that had tusks growing out of its chin downward. Alright, what you doing? Roar? Huh? Whoa, okay. Jumping over there. Oh yeah. No, it was flinging the rock, I see. Going to end it anytime soon. There we go. Alright, now for my ultimate power. I'll be doing it again. Raw Electro.
We mustn't hold
Come
back.
on, stop wasting time, NPCs. There we go. Stand over here.
I have you now.
War again. Caber toss. Need to get away from Alphanaut. There we go. And get away from Alizé. Uh-oh. Ouch. Trial, not now.
Not escape this.
See, look, you missed. Electrical overload. This is... Unless it's the... Maybe that was the AoE. I don't need to use my superpower combo. Just basic rotation will do. My posture keeps getting worse. I see we found reception. While His Majesty Zoral is not the first to conceive of transferring a beast soul to a person's body, safety and ethical concerns have ensured no earnest attempts have been made to date. Yet our king believes that there is no greater evil than to hinder the potential of man, and so he has ordered us to make this conception a reality. We'll bolster our military might and break through into the outside world, but if our research will continue his ambition, then perhaps it is worth pursuing. Ah, typical stupid science. Hello. Yeah. Gross. Who put necromorphs in Final Fantasy XIV? Don't give them regular dog noises. Yep, feels like I'm back in the hospital on Titan Station or the medical sector of the Ishimura. Well, what do you know?
hold back.
What's after this? An X-Parasite? Whoa! Oh. Not quite an X-Parasite, but it does look like an enemy I've faced before in Infinity Blade. Ugh, I miss Infinity Blade. Punk. This thing never had or somehow lost its fingers and toes. The rate of transfiguration may be dictated by the potency of the soul consumed. We've experimented with fiends of greater power, but mutations were observed after the infusion of merely a single soul. No better was this phenomenon illustrated than with poor Atticus. His body was altered irreparably, and he lost all capacity for rational thought. While the primary objective of this research was to utilize the soul of a Tural Vidral, I struggle to see a path forward. An alternative approach must be considered. Well, suppose I'll be facing Atticus later on. Whoever that may be. Well, somebody let the inmates out. Yeah, they want that one.
You underestimate me.
These are not specters, they're quite clearly here. If the source of our failures thus far has been the inability of our bodies to contain feral souls, what if we were to reverse this process? By purging a beast of its memories and infusing it with a man's soul, one still possessed of its own memories, we stand to gain absolute control over a vessel of greater power. My subordinate, who first proposed this brilliant hypothesis, shall have the honor of being the first to transcend our meager limits. I must prepare his soul for extraction at once. Oh, poor bastard. Isn't that like a rule in office politics or something? Like whoever brings the problem up must be the one to solve it? There it is. Overseer, Kaniloka. He's dead. So will you be. Wow, tank breaker already? Oh no, he's hitting me with the From software. Three spirits. Ah, there we go. Whoa, hello. Ooh. Oh no, that was fast. Oh my god, what the hell? Jesus Christ.
You'll not escape!
Oh no, it's so much tighter now. Dark 2. How do we do this? Oh, I see. Only some of you. My god, I'm taking so much damage. What the? Uh-oh. Crap. Not again. Ah, fuck hell. Well, that's not a fun boss. Ooh, this is not gonna go well. Hope. There we go. Well, let's hope we can kill him before he does that again.
Are you all right?
Here we go again. Come on. Powered sword magic. Oh, back up.
This should do it!
I have you!
Go first to AoE. Okay. Well, I'll say the free spirit section was interesting, if incredibly chaotic. But that other part about the lost doom or whatever, no, did not like that bit at all. What the hell? Is that caused by Atticus? Wasn't a rock. Was a rock monster. Get them closer so they could be hit by my sword magic. Sprightly rock just makes me think of a Monty Python sketch. Group poor limpets locked in a life or death struggle. The huge bull limpet attempts to encircle his sprightly opponent. Be bad? Yeah, feel bad, man. Bonka Rock. Thanks, Atticus. Newest enemy, Big Rock.
You underestimate me.
Huh. He's not affected by arm's length.
I have you now.
Must be ranged fighters instead of melee. Yep, I just saw the rock thrown at me. Stab up. Joe's wrong again. Wild horn? I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have a horn. Nope. It just is an underbite. What are you? A Rhyhorn in Gen 1? Bonk. Oh. Gonna move on to Atticus then. Get my stretch on real quick. Duptral Vitral. Unipyati. Well, I guess Atticus just never made the cut then. Poor bastard. Alright, time to kill the bunny from Monty Python. Still doesn't feel like I've zoomed out all the way. That was a vicious looking combo. Low fake. Not the flop I thought it would be. Alright, I'll go to you. Oh, I see. That up a little too late.
Try this.
I know what these mean. Oh, fuck you, game. I was not standing on those at all. Oh dear. In we go. Is there more gonna happen? Oh yeah, I'm backing up. Yikes. Now what? Uh-oh. How is it still able to scratch me from that far away? Oh, it's gonna swipe again. Oh no. Oh.
Should do it.
Double howl.
This should do
Ew.
it.
Not again. Uh-oh, looks faster this time. Glad my sprint was still active. Interesting how it's not on everybody, it's just on one of us. Well, I mean, 3 of us. Howl again. Myself better.
You'll not escape this!
Well, action direction requirements are nullified. Ooh. That'd be handy for those that do more damage depending on the direction, well, position around an enemy they need to be. Well, rabbit's dead. Heliometry, huh? Oh, did I get an item from that? I'll look after the cutscene.
For all the talk of my brother felling this beast, he only imprisoned it, like Vali Armanda.
From what I could tell, they sought to transfer people's souls and memories into bestial vessels at that facility. The Tural Vidral explains the need for a remote location. It was doubtless their prime subject. Though I expect Zoralja did not foresee the opportunities it presented when he imprisoned the creature.
Why does it look like it's still breathing? Oh.
And so, in order to prevent the breakdown of the individual, I instead seek to transfer their soul into the body of the beast.
Oh, hey, he's what became that administrator.
This would allow one to wield the power of a Tural Vidral.
In theory, our initial experiments will involve lesser creatures. But in time, I am confident we will be able to bring even the mightiest under our control.
And what becomes of those who offer their souls?
As they won't be able to return to their original forms, we must consider them lost. But the sacrifice will be worthwhile, for the army you stand to gain will far surpass any composed of mechanical soldiers.
Very well. Recruit volunteers and begin at once.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I shall return to the observatory and see to the necessary preparations.
Oh-ho.
So, you've given him permission?
Teshalja, you will assist Kaniloka. As one of the Landsguard's finest chirurgeons, your knowledge may be of use in his experiments.
Of course. Always. They're always surgeons and medics.
You will also watch him. closely. And what you learn, you will report to me.
Spy.
You object to his project? Or are you incapable of performing this duty?
No, Your Majesty. Whether we shelter within the dome or expand beyond it, we require great power. But with no one to rely upon, we must take that power for ourselves, even if the means are questionable.
Very questionable.
I will do as you command. But if Kaniloka's work bears fruit, I wish to beg a boon.
What do you desire?
Something that I had accepted I would never have in Tuliyollal. That I believed would forever be beyond me. That it was foolish to covet. But here and now, it is close. So very, very close.
Horny.
Perform your duty to my satisfaction, and anything you desire is yours. That which I seek does not lie within this dome. Here, I cannot prove the miracle. But if what you seek is at hand, then you may claim it, for it has no value to me.
Explains a lot. Ah, finally it goes away.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I just had a bout of the echo.
Teishelja. Could she be my mother?
Can't imagine anyone else.
Like the people in the outskirts said, few Mamulja lived in the Yasulani. I can't imagine many other Ubiko women were trapped in the dome.
And even less who were horny for him.
That being the case, she could well be the one.
This observatory Kaniloka returned to, could it not be part of the research facility? We might learn something about Teishelja there.
That's where we're going next then.
Back inside, right? I wish I could see into the past like you, then I could see people who are gone. It's not as handy as you think it is, kid. Because there aren't any other Mamulja women here, for a long time I couldn't even imagine what my mother looked like. When I visited Tuliyollal and Salsum, I was finally able to picture her in my mind. Yep, they all look the same. And one day, I hope I could see what she actually looked like as well. She looked the same. Alright, this is gonna actually take some look. Take some looking. What do we got here? I got 11, 11, 11. 12. 12. I need a battle dance, quick arm, and quick tongue. Okay, fine. Piety. Stop it and let me do my thing. Thank you. Use the card. While we've discerned the purpose of the research conducted here, the traces of it that remain might afford us greater insight into what came of it. Zombification. Let's take a look around for information as well as a way to the upper level. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon music just came into my head instead. Wrought iron gate. Surely we can blast past that. A lift can be seen behind the wrought iron gate. It mysterious appears like the resist attempts to force it open. How? How? I'm pretty sure I can cut a mountain in half at this point. Security panel is nearby. Perhaps a verification key will open the way. Alright, let's take a look at the zombie cells. Sorry, operating rooms. Journal lies next to the body. I was transferred to U Station in order to train the villagers in the use of electrope technology. While a child can quickly learn to operate common contraptions, it will be no easy thing for them to attain the requisite skill to develop new weapons, ones which require no less than the manipulation of souls. Thankfully, two of my pupils have demonstrated great aptitude in the field, Kanilaka, the village chief, and Tisholja, a field chirurgeon. Further driven by their loyalty to our king, their growth has been remarkable. I dare to hope that before long they will carry out their duties without further instructions, and I am relieved of my duty. You were relieved of life. That's what happened. Oh, not in this one. They're recruiting volunteers for a new experiment. I know I'm not as bright as the others, but they wouldn't laugh at me if I was stronger than them. This might be my chance. You fool. Soul transferred a few days ago. I can write. Can write good, yes? I am good. Very good. Getting hard to control strength. Today, bit offhand a feeder. Cannot help it, so strong. Hungry, always hungry. Cannot control eat. I must eat. Am eater. Must eat. Yeah, that was about as well as anybody could have expected. Supplies for the staff are neatly arranged within the cabinet. Among the various items is a manual outlining regulations and tranquilizing gas to use in emergencies. Find a verification key. Alright, will we find more zombies? Seems the key can be used to operate the lift as well. Up we go. To the Resident Evil Laboratories. Huh. This seems to be not terribly overrun. So this is the observatory. I didn't expect it to be similar, but this is a far cry from the temple that held Valley Garmanda. All the machinery appears to still be in operation. I expect there are auxiliary systems in place to ensure that monitoring can continue even in emergencies. The warnings indicate various anomalies related to the seal's failure, most likely. For a blessing, we managed to fell the beast before it could cause harm. Right then, let's see if we can find some clues about Gulul's mother. I think I can use this terminal. Shale taught me how. Child hacker. There's so much data, I don't know what we should look at. Check the personnel files. Perhaps we can narrow down the search by inputting the name Tishalja. Ah, it brought up a lot of results. They all seem to say the same thing. Administrator of Experimental Treatments, research logs. It sounds good, doesn't it? Nah, this could be horrifying. Chances are the data is encrypted, and even if not, it will take considerable time to go through it all. Then let's take it with us back to the back room and have Shale analyze it. Agreed. Alright, I'll transfer this to this storage device I brought. How handy of you to do that. Still feels like something is watching us. There, it's finished. Thank you so much for bringing me all the way here, everyone. If you're happy, then so am I. Besides, I was able to learn more about my brother as well. It was a fruitful adventure for the both of us. And here we are. The authorities will doubtless wish to be informed about the facility and its contents. But first things first, let us deliver the data to Shale. Time Bread, what a name. Welcome back. Gulul has already given me the storage device. It looks to be a wealth of data, all of which is encrypted, so I'll need time to process everything. Something tells me this is the last bit of plot we get. In that case, Alice and I might take ourselves around the city and check on the people. Aye, their mood had us a bit worried. I don't know if there's anything we can do to help, but we'll see. Understood. I'll let you know as soon as I finish my work. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Looks like there's still more to do. Alize isn't wrong. The mood out there is still grim. Some of the Turali remember a time before they were dependent on the Sol system, but even they're unsettled and worrying aloud if they'll have the chance to reunite with old friends and family before they pass on. With good reason, too. The journey home won't be an easy one for those who've grown old. That's why it's mostly been younger folk who've been leaving for Tural, ones with no elders to care for. Word of that problem has reached us in Tuyulil. My brother is doing all he can to see the Zaktural Railroad restored to operation so that people may come and go more freely. Yes! Get the trains up! Get them running! Unfortunately, the tracks only go as far as Vanguard, so some traveling by foot will still be necessary. Extend the tracks! Even so, the railroad would make things a sight easier. How long before it's back in service? I couldn't say. When I left for this visit, Colin seemed reluctant to make promises. But while Shale's overlooking the data, we could go and see the state of it for ourselves. To Shaloni Station then. I'll make sure to keep Kona informed. Talk of trains. I already feel better. Valve Resolve, and Yuhime Thane to boot. What can I do you for? We're hoping for some good news about the railroad. There's an increasing number of people looking to return to Tural that can't make the journey on foot. I see. As it happens, the Valve Reason is also on his way here to take stock of the situation. Ah, scratch the on his way. Ah, he's got a new outfit. Looking more traditional? Did our little bun finally outgrow his old clothes? No, I'm not gonna needle him on that. No. As the guild ship has officially approved my transition from gleaner to independent contractor, I was in need of a more befitting attire. You're here about the railroad too? It was in part for my sake that the original Dawn Blazer was sacrificed, so I felt it only right that I assist with its replacement. Yes, that beautiful, beautiful engine. Speaking of which, I assume Lamachi has explained the growing urgency of the need. What have you to report? The new locomotive was on track for completion, but we're having difficulty pulling her into the station, in a manner of speaking. You see, when that... God damn it, stop... Chat, please. You see, when we used the Dawn Blazer to get into the dome, urgency outweighed all other considerations, but now we're back to our original problem, how to run the railroad without upsetting the inhabitants of Meh. That is, the Ronik. Though the Hetsaro that follow them are none too pleased about their Seto being spooked by the noise of the locomotive either. The solution I've devised to quieten the railroad should address that complaint. But a silent train presents a different danger. The Ronik will need to be deterred from wandering across the tracks. And I suppose we can't just blow the whistle at them or they'll panic and be put off their grazing again. Weren't the rail routes plotted to avoid the Ronik's preferred grazing areas, though? It's odd that they're getting so close to in the first place. The Ronik's grazing patterns have shifted since the tracks were laid. I'm not certain why, but I intend to ask the people of Meh for their insight. As a major proponent of the railroad, I have a duty to assist in this matter, and I too would hear what the Hitsaro have to say about it. They are the ones most affected, after all. I believe it would be best to begin by consulting their leader, Huato. The rest of you can accompany us to the Hitsaro encampment if you like. Mind tricks do not work on me, only money. No money, no parts, no deal. And no one else has a T-15 hyperdrive, I can promise you that. Empty. Depressingly empty. Oh, this is the Vanguard theme, but like a country rock version. Couldn't tell at first. You know what, while we're here... a little more appropriate attire. Why not? What the hell? Oh, that just looks wrong. Valve Reason, Valve Resolve, wrong order. I bid you welcome to our camp, but what brings you all the way to Meh? I thank you for seeing us. Our visit concerns the matter of the Zaktural Railroad. You two have noticed the Ronik's unexpected change in behavior then. My son, Shepetto, has been looking into this matter. Shepetto? I made a wooden puppet. Normally we'd expect the Ronik to keep their favored grounds nearby for a while yet, and despite a thorough search, we haven't found anything wrong with the quantity or quality of the grazing in Piari or Ya. Hold on. There it goes. Yet they refuse to keep where they usually would, instead pushing westward toward your railroad. I certainly see no cause for this unseasonal migration. Nevertheless, should they continue to move west, we will follow. Fievel goes west. As any true Hitsaro would, I suppose. As you may have surmised, I am of Hitsaro descent. My parents traveled with the Ranik as well, though I myself have no memory of the experience. I was left behind as a babe, you see, during such a migration. One of many sacrifices necessitated by a nomadic lifestyle, I am forced to assume. A chance encounter with a kind Pelu merchant was the only reason I survived. Taking pity on me, he taught me his trade that I might fend for myself. I became a stallkeeper in Tuliolol's markets, and that is where the Dawn servant found and adopted me. I had already been in the place some time when Lamati came to join us. Like me, she had been cast aside by her parents. I knew the pain of solitude and wanted to spare her that suffering. As this tiny child's new brother, I swore I would always be there for her. Truly, I have never heard of the Ranik choosing a path so arduous as to force such a terrible decision, nor of any Hetsar willingly leaving their own flesh and blood behind. There must have been some exceptional circumstance. I cannot say. The idea of following in their footsteps that I might better make excuses for their actions never much appealed to me. Even if I might help you better understand the Ranik's current behavior. As is so often the case, you are correct. I don't know how I am, but I guess I am. Though my discomfort with the Hetsaro may arise from fear of reopening old wounds rather than blind fervor for innovation, it would nevertheless see me repeat past mistakes. And to refuse one of our country's treasured traditions, refuse to learn, would make me a poor Dawn servant indeed. So we're about to learn, like, Native American cattle wrestling? Please teach me of the Ranik and what they mean to you. Well, first you have to use every part of them. We'd be delighted. In the meantime, your companions are welcome to look around. Will you learn of Hitsaro culture with me? I should like to approach this with the fervent curiosity that you and my sister share, but it would be useful to know whether I am doing it correctly. Simple. Don't appear overeager. Then it's settled. You'll learn more of the Ranik, and we'll have a look around the plains, and perhaps in the process we'll find the answers we seek. The quickest way to learn about our way of life is to do as we do. I hope you're not above manual labor. I am not the most experienced, I'm ashamed to admit, but I shall put forth every effort. That's all we ask. Take these tools. Now introduce yourself to anyone who looks busy and ask if you can help. They'll be happy to teach you what to do in exchange for another pair of hands to do it. Let's meet back here later to share what we've learned. Heck. Yeesh. Trying to find a seam? This won't do. The wind will go right through it, and me without my needle and sinew. Oh, these are precisely what I needed. I should be able to patch up the covering now. Given how often we pack up and reassemble our tents, they're bound to get the occasional tear. Fortunately, the Ranik hide they're made of is durable enough that we generally needn't worry. Final Fish, what a title. Painted Buffalo. I'm afraid I finished with my task for the time being, but since you're so eager to learn about our way of life, why don't I tell you a bit about our migration customs? If you're here, you likely already know that the Ranik are our Hetso, our guides, that we travel with them through the turning of the seasons. We trust them lead us to fertile lands with all we need to survive. But you may not know that sometimes the herd splits Into two, bound for different paths. On those occasions, we hit sorrow must also part with half our number. You may think of it as a strange and stressful custom, but over the years it has seen us visit new lands and broaden our horizons as a people. This too is the wisdom of the Hetzo. That sounds like the closest thing we're going to get to why Kona was left behind. Note that many portions are shaggy and tangled. This one's fur is a bit overgrown, but a good brushing should thin it out. Would you like to give it a try? You'll need the right tool for the job, mind you. A comb of the type you're used to would get lost in the tangle, like as not. Ah, Shepedo sent a Ronnie brush with you, did he? How like him? Now just run it through one little patch at a time. Gently. I'm hearing bantha noises in my head when I look at these things. Well done. With less excess fur, our friend here will be more comfortable in the afternoon heat and less susceptible to illness. A combed coat also makes it easier for us to identify injuries should the need arise. You're learning about the Hitsaro way of life, are you? I may have a thing or two to share, but rather than talking your ear off, let me test your powers of deduction. I find the answers much easier to recall later if I arrived at them myself. Our Hitsaro provide us with something that we use in medicines, poultices, and soap to drive away pests and to sustain our fires. What is it? Bones, hooves? Are hooves bones? Is it dung? Again? Meat and organ meat? I would say fat, honestly, but... Alas, not quite. Meat and organs both can be made into delicious fare, and our neighbors are oft glad to trade for them. They do have a certain medicinal uses as well, but they aren't fit for all purposes mentioned in my question. Alright, fine then. Both horns and hooves have cores of bone, and we use all of these materials, albeit primarily tent poles, instruments, and the like. It's not quite the answer I was looking for. Ah, it's their crap. It sounds like there's a story there, but that is indeed the correct answer. We've discovered myriad uses for Rani chips over time, each a boon to our way of life. Where there is a need, our Hetzo always provide. Gross. Smell of the grass and the wind, which is a good thing, I promise. You could nearly be mistaken for one of us, and with the horns of Orani to boot. Yo, is that actually mentioning that I'm an Aura? I have to wonder how Valkona is getting on. I assumed he would be reluctant to get his hands dirty, but it seems his wish to understand us was sincere. Ah, there he is now. I don't like the way their eyes bulge like that. Apologies for my tardiness. I was tasked with grazing the Ranik and ended up rather far afield. I found myself wandering hither and thither at my companion's inclination. To force us back to the trail seemed inappropriate. But how was your own work? Have you anything to share? It revolves around the Ranik, but they receive all things. Yes, I feel the truth of this myself. While I was hesitant to leave my fate to the whims of the Hetzo rather than tread man-made paths, I arrived where I was meant to be all the same. Mine is not the only way, though at times I lack the experience to know otherwise. My inability to conceive of how a decision might be right does not mean that it is wrong. My parents had a duty to the Ranik as they did to me, and so I wonder if their leaving me behind was not so selfish an act as I once believed. I have no way to know, of course, and regardless, this has no bearing on our present concerns. We are here in service of the people of Tyrol, after all. Nevertheless, I thank you for helping me find deeper meaning in what we've done today. And I will endeavor to remain curious, especially where the Hetso are concerned. I'm glad to hear that, Valkona. You're welcome among our herd anytime. Banana blend, roast Ronique. Sure. What's this about? Kona, how did it go? I believe I finally understand the significance of the Hetso. They nourish the Hetsaro as they grow and provide warmth and companionship in a harsh and unpredictable world. They are the equal of any man, not beasts to be tamed. Moreover, Ronique are sensitive. Though we may treat their injuries or brush their coats to keep them hale, they must ever be free to follow their instincts and seek lands where they might thrive. The Hetsaro would never cage them, and neither should we. To control their migratory patterns or capture those who wander too close to the tracks is out of the question. Then it is particularly important to advance our original line of inquiry. Fortunately, we were able to visit the Ronique's once favored grazing grounds. As we were told, the grass looks fine, but the place is too quiet. It's not just the Ronique, even the birds and field mice have fled. We did encounter one pack of Ceratoraptors, but they look to be passing through in a hurry. So there's something creepy there, a kind of dead land. Typically, that sort of behavior in the fauna would be associated with natural disasters, earthquake, landslides, and the like. Though the Hetsaro would have surely put two and two together, were the cause geological, I measured this area's aether to be certain. There was indeed nothing to suggest recent environmental disruption, but I did notice one anomaly. A strong etheric signature to the east, moving across the plain, albeit slowly. Large animal? Or Tyrol Vidral? And a powerful one, like it's not, a predator given the local fauna's behavior. One of the raptors we saw looked like it had a bite taken out of its tail by something with very large fangs. It couldn't be. A Turuhetso? Turuhetso? Ronique Reaver in the common tongue. Our people have several names for such creatures. Fangs that steal Hetso in the night is another evocative one. Ronique can fend off many predators with their horns, but not the Turuhetso. Their scales are tough as adamant, and neither horn nor arrow can pierce them. How about bullet? A well-toothed carnivore with an unusually tough hide. I cannot recall any such fauna in this region. They usually roam the wilds in the northeast, and most herds keep well clear of them. I can't tell you why this one is so far from home and its pack both. In any case, I believe the source of the Ronique's consternation is clear, as is our next move. We must drive this reaver away that they might return to their grazing lanes in peace. Alright, let's go kill it. Never fear, we'll make certain that the beast threatens you no more. Oof, I knew it. Ronique Reaver is a clear threat to the local population. We cannot allow it to roam unchecked. But it won't do for us to go running off in search of it without having made proper preparations. And if others returning from across the plain have spotted it, they may be able to inform us of its recent behavior and where it might be found. Wait, 730? Oh, fuck. I don't have anything that's up to 730. 691 is what my paladin's at.
Help! Help! Oduda Hetsu is coming this way! It has beasts across the plains in a panic, and our Ronek are practically paralyzed with fear. We must get them to safety.
We can assist by helping to calm the creatures. Once they're less agitated, it should be possible to hurt them.
And after they're out of harm's way, we'll deal with the Ronek Reaver.
I suggest you remain here to attend to the Ronek when they arrive.
That's like 3 different pronunciations of Ronik. We've heard in the span of like 2 minutes.
They'll be safe with me. Please, be careful out there.
Oh boy. So what's this big boy gonna look like, I wonder?
Make haste!
Thank you for
we
the
must
sync.
protect the Ronek!
Don't worry, we're right behind you.
Stop getting caught in this stuff.
There they are!
They're terrified. We must do what we can to soothe them.
Stroke, stroke, stroke. I got here first, Aaronville.
That herd should be all right. Let's look for stragglers. The Ronek are Turani too. None shall be left behind. There must be something up ahead. Come!
Birds.
There!
These are no match for the likes of us.
Whoops.
In a panic was clearly an understatement. More are coming!
You're mine.
That's a big gator. Regular gators.
All or nothing, then.
What are you gonna do? Oh. Haha, there it is in action. I hope to be able to use it too. Stop doing the critical drill.
It seems that did the trick.
For the fodder, at least. But where's...
Yes, where's the big old monster? Where's the super fauna? Oh! Oh my.
Look there! We've got a big one coming!
We have a T-Rex.
Impenetrable scales and wicked fangs. That's a Ronak Reaver, and no mistake.
There! That one there!
It looks so stupid.
Not so fast!
Oh! I'm surprised all that happened was his glasses got cracked.
Even should it cost me my life. I will save the head soul!
Kona! Are you alright?
Do not concern yourself with me.
I got the better gun.
Get the Ronek to safety!
Oh, his backpack, I see. He's got a little thing of his mom's drone. Aww.
Right! Let's finish the job!
Yeehaw.
I made a vow to our people. You shall plague them no longer!
Ah, hell, I just realized I haven't looked back at my logs to see if I got anything from the duty. Let's see here. Let's see, Spirit Bond, obtain Overseer kind of local card. Huh, I guess I didn't. Alright then.
You'll find the vow of reason is not without resolve.
Damn it! Not even a scratch!
Buy me some time to think, will you?
I say we aim for the mouth.
It must have a weakness, and I will find it.
Snare.
Keep it busy. I need time.
Full metal field.
Right. Go for the legs.
Generate. Oh, I see. Bug, out of the way. Okay, hit the legs. Now what?
Now we just have to keep it pinned.
Get thinking, Kona!
A protective current of ether. But whence does it flow? I got it!
Do you now? Better do something about it. Ouch.
One well-placed piercing round to the chest, and...
Why can't we use a sniper rifle?
you're done for!
Looks like it re-armored itself.
That stemmed the flow of protective ether.
There's nothing stopping us now!
Yeah, except for the teeth.
Still not backing down, huh? Fine with me.
This fire is out of control. We're gonna burn this city, burn this city. Okay, not as close as I thought it would be. Boy. Oh, wait a minute.
We must disperse that ether ere the river recovers it!
This is going to hurt.
Okay, I'll grab it. You fool. Alright, over here. Oh, yeah, right, I see. This is painful. Damage himself, though. Yay. We took down the varmint. No more cattle rustling for you.
We did it. The Etso, are they?
The Ronek have all made it to Mehua Hetsuan. Hunters are scouring the area for any remaining threats, but the local fauna appear to have calmed down.
We cannot thank you enough for your timely aid. You, most of all, Bow of Reason. We feared you would be loath to take direct action, yet you didn't hesitate to put your life on the line for our Hetso.
I did no more than is a Dawn servant's duty. The ethereal conductivity of those scales is astounding. I dare say we could repurpose them to create a device that emits controlled pulses of ether.
And that would keep the Ronic from the tracks.
Ether resembling that of the predator the Ronek fear most. It might work. If we struck the right balance, we would have the means to deter the Ronek from approaching the railroad without causing them undue distress.
Incredible! Kona, you've done it again.
I must say, I was hoping I'd never have to see one of these again. Still haven't forgotten the last one. And it's been more than 20 years now. I had come as a trader to the camp in Lozeni Hetta. A camp that was obliterated in an instant by that monster.
Lozeni Hetta. That's where the Pelu Pelu trader found me as a babe.
Ah, they didn't leave you behind. They were killed.
Please, can you tell me what you saw?
As I said, I had traveled there to trade with our fellow Hetzaro. Like us, they followed the Ronek. And like us, they were visited by a reaver. The fiend struck like a whirlwind in the night. It was chaos. I grabbed some token belongings and bolted in a panic, thinking only of getting as far away as possible. But even in my panicked state, I could not help but notice the young couple racing the other way, toward the fell creature. "We're distracted," I heard one cry. "Save our son! Save the Hetzo!" After that, nothing but the pounding of my heart and feet and Rodak thunder. I ran and ran. And as the sun broke the horizon, I found myself separated from both man and beast. Windborne words say that a group of survivors reunited with their remaining Ronak and have long since moved on. But still more were never seen again, including the brave couple. Or so the story goes.
Well, there's his closure.
And what became of their child?
I'm afraid I don't know. But if he wasn't with the survivors, even if he lived through that night, the wilderness wouldn't have been kind to a little one out on his lonesome.
Maybe not. But perhaps a passing Pelu Pelu would. And one day, even a Dawn servant himself. All these years, I was convinced that my parents had left me behind to follow after the Ronek. But now I see, they didn't abandon me. They were trying to keep me safe. I've wasted so much time resenting them, when in truth, they gave me everything I have today. It is thanks to them that I live to know the warmth of family, even after they were gone. And now that I am Dawn's servant, all of Tuliyola is my family. A family I will always protect, as my parents protected me.
Hopefully it'll end better. Anyway, let's get to skinning this thing. To know that the Hetzo are safe is more than enough, yet would it be wrong to hope that in protecting them we also avenge my parents? It is the least I owe to them after all this time. I thank you for standing by me as Dawn's servant and as the oft imperfect man beneath that mantle. Now let's return our attention to the matter we came here to address, shall we? We have removed the root cause of the Ronning straying from their favored grazing and obtained the tools to devise an additional precautionary measure, a silent whistle, as it were. This whistle may be capable of emitting pulses of aether strong enough that they will shy away from the tracks on instinct, yet not so strong as to drive them into a panic. In other words, just make them uneasy about going closer. If we can achieve this, it will be a far sight better than a traditional whistle, more effective and less stressful for the creatures themselves. Yeah, but... everybody likes the sound of a good train whistle, though. So no reason to leave those out. Let's return to Shaloni Station and begin work on it then. Walika and his crew will doubtless be relieved to finally have a solution. Stop licking the wall. look pleased about something. Good news for the railroad, I take it? So the Ronic were avoiding a predator. Smart ones they are, and Valcona's not too bad himself, what with his whistle idea. Sit tight, we'll have this train on the tracks before you know it.
We're ready to go.
Yay! It's a beautiful little engine. I love it.
Whoa! She looks as good as new.
If I had time to do a proper job, could have really made her shine. Had to cobble together the exterior with spare parts. We refurbished the interior, though. Not that you can appreciate it from out here. But as far as the Ronek are concerned, we've spared no effort. From the ballast to the ties, we've adjusted every bit of the track so she'll run quiet as a field mouse.
Aw, but I love to hear the clickety-clack.
You and your crew have worked wonders. Our nation is in your debt.
Take me right back to the track, Jack.
Come now. If anything, credit's due to Tuliolal. It's thanks to the folk you recruited from every corner of the continent that we were able to get her up and running so quickly. Besides, the ethereal whistle's the true marvel, and we wouldn't have that without the scales you brought us. However grateful you are, know that we're even more thankful.
Oh, I see you got his glasses fixed too.
Right. If we're done talking, let's put this train through her paces.
Where are the coaches, though? He's got to do passenger work after all. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at it go. Oh.
There's a Ronek up ahead.
Alright, time to test it.
Now, to test our whistle.
On it. Just point it in the general direction and...
Yep, it's walking away instead of running.
It's moving away. Meanwhile, our friends over there appear wholly unperturbed.
Yay, they did it.
With this, we can alert those who wander too close without disturbing the rest of the herd.
A roaring success! In a quiet way, like.
Heh.
Then with your permission, Vow of Reason, the Shaktaral Railroad is back in service.
Yay! Finally, some good news. For a while there, we were real worried that we'd never get the railroad running again, but now that the test drive was a success, we can breathe easy and start hauling people to and from the dome. First Shaloni, then the continent. Watch out, Zoctorol, here we come. Gonna have to expand this place then. Make it a real grand central station. I share the sentiment, but we've got a mountain of work ahead of us to ensure smooth operations. Time to get back to it. What is it, snow? No dust. Oh no, we're in the Dust Bowl. The efforts of all here today have not gone unnoticed. Once more, I thank you. As for our own work, I trust you can handle matters in Alexandria, Lamati. Bug. This is named after this little bit. This is probably the last mission. Well, it's possible that Shale's made some headway by now, and regardless, we should spread word that the railroad's been restored to service. Shale? What do you have her working on? Little Gulu's mama. I'd feel the same in his shoes. Have felt the same. Some questions are painful to leave unanswered. There's no cause to look at me like that. The Ka we met may have only been a simulacrum, but her memory was real. I needn't search for what she left behind because she left it with me, and I will carry it always. Yeah, you will. Speaking of things you're carrying, oh, and here I never thought they would actually mention it. Is that a teeny tiny Ka? What? No. It is merely a token from Alexandria. Our friends in Oblivion would not take no for an answer, and I thought it as good a souvenir as any. Aw, you fussy little bun. Whatever you say, for what it's worth, I think it's a nice way to bring her with you on your travels. Yes, well, you're off to the dome now, aren't you? I thought I might join you for a time. See if there is aught I can do for the people there. Much changed though it is, I still consider it my home. Of course, we can give you the full story on the way. A simple yet elegant solution, and thus is the railroad back in operation. Meanwhile, Shale has nearly finished processing the data. She'll be able to share her findings with us imminently. Uh-oh, Ishtola. I'm interrupting something, I gather? Uh-oh, she's gonna want to steal the key from me, and then steal me away. Why, Ishtola, what brings you here? I've seen enough of the gate and the Skydeep cenotes for now, so I'm shifting my investigation to living memory. While there, I thought I would do well to have the company of an expert on Electro. I'd have to take a closer look at the place myself. I can join you once we've finished here. Lest you fear I've forgotten, once I've made headway with living memory, the key in your keeping shall be the next subject of my scrutiny.
There was a mountain of data to sift through, much of it tantalizing, I admit. But it will take time to fully decrypt everything that piques my interest, so to answer our immediate question, I've been concentrating my efforts on the audio saved by Teishulja herself.
Audio?
While I've not listened to it yet, I have a selection ready for playback. Would you like to hear it now?
Yes, please.
All right. Several audio files will now play in sequence.
I'm not sure he knows what that means.
My name is Teishulja, and I decided to record this to help me put my thoughts in order, I suppose.
Mother?
Officially I was a Virgin with the Lance Guard. I was part of a contingent dispatched to Yasulani to hunt a Tural Vidral that was wreaking havoc. After our mission was complete, I elected to remain. It was the perfect opportunity to document the geographic distribution of medicinal herbs in this region. Or so I said when requesting special dispensation. In truth, I could not bear to return to Tuliolal.
Hey?
I had hoped to aid Commander Zoralja in the right of succession, but he did not so much as look my way.
Oh.
I was never in contention, of course. One of the nameless many in his army. To go back and face that reality was too much for me, so I ran. And in my cowardice, I stumbled upon this path. A path that changed my life. When the dome appeared, I found myself trapped within, and reunited with my commander.
Next.
How am I to speak of Commander Zoralja? I admired him. His incontestable strength, his unwavering focus. He was a man of great passions.
I would say only one, honestly.
I watched him, captivated by his intensity. From afar, I would not dare approach. And in watching, I came to know him.
No, you didn't.
His eyes too sought the distance, but not as mine did. He yearned not for another, but something else, beyond the horizon. That gaze would never fall upon me. I knew. I knew. The experiment will soon proceed to its next phase, and when it does, as he promised, I will have my heart's desire.
Guzzler.
Today. It should have been today. A new beginning. What I have dreamed of for so long. I hold a future in my arms. If he could see him, embrace him, surely that would be enough.
No.
So full of hope I was. A foolish hope.
Its scales are blue.
He's your son.
My... No, I can't. I don't know how. How could I? How? To raise a child, be a father. I don't. I can't. No! No! Get it away from me. Get that thing away from me!
Hidden memory?
It's all right, little one.
Or was it playing
I
out?
was just surprised. That's all.
I have no idea what happened.
Come around. We'll be a happy family.
Huh.
Kaniloka is shouting for me. The research hasn't been going well. But I can't let him take it out on my baby. Hush now, little one. I know just where to hide you.
That's all of them.
He was abandoned, the poor dear. We found him in the drift downs a few years ago.
Uh-huh. Right.
We know some manner of accident happened at the facility after this was recorded. Perhaps your mother couldn't come back for you.
Probably because she was dead and zombified.
Hey, Gololcha.
I'm fine, Lamachi. Father and Mother, they were both so lonely. If we could have been together, maybe they wouldn't have been.
Nah.
But sometimes things don't work out, no matter how hard you try.
Because they weren't destined to.
I can't tell if I'm happier now. But it's better to know, I think. Thank you, everyone.
I think the kid's growing up well. It's better to know. A profound response for one so young. Though I wish he didn't have to be. Gulul is indeed wise beyond his years. Probably because he hangs out with us. Yet one never outgrows the need for dependable companions. 'Tis fortunate that he has you. Thank you, Shale. Because of you, I got to hear my mother's whole story. You heard it because you were brave enough to listen, Gulul. If you remember one thing, remember that. Now then, having shared what I can at present, I'm ready to head to living memory when you are. I'm planning to be thorough, so we'll need to stop for supplies on the way. That said, I promise we won't remain over long. I know we all have much and more to attend to. So, for now, farewell. I feel like I need to crack my wrist real bad, but I can't. A word before you leave. Our networks already begin spreading word of the railroad. We expected people would be clamoring to get on the first train back. That's more than one word. Yet the reaction's been the polar opposite. Scant few seem inclined to depart Alexandria anytime soon. What? When we spoke before, you said many from Tuyalol were eager to reunite with friends and family. Maybe they're concerned about getting through Vanguard? If so, we could take turns accompanying them. In any case, we need to speak with the people ourselves. Let's start at Leonode 9. Leonine Misbegotten. There may still be people gathering in Praxis Park. Let's try there first.
People look uneasy. Did something happen?
Have you heard? Someone was killed in the Thunder Yards.
Huh?
The Thunder Yards was one of the hunters slain by a beast.
It was a hunter, all right, and a veteran at that. But it was no fiend that did him in. Only a random bolt of lightning.
That's life.
Such a senseless way to die. They say that he expended his last soul cells during Zoraljar's attack on the city.
That guy has not gotten sleep in
For an
weeks.
upright, hard-working man to meet such an unceremonious end, it feels wrong.
It is, but that's life. I mean death.
But we'll be fine, won't we? Even if the system no longer erases our memory of the departed, the regulators continue to function.
Oh my god. Facial hair does not work for Lalas.
I shan't go before my time. Growing old and passing peacefully with the help of the ushers is only natural.
Not really. Well, the ushers at the very least.
Well, you may think so, but how are we to know? We have no memory of those who have gone. More may have met violent deaths than passed from old age, and we would be blissfully unaware.
And now you realize the problems with your society.
It could happen to you, or me, to any of us.
Anybody could be the Red Spy.
Then what are we to do? Spend every waking moment thinking only of how we might die?
Ugh, Jeebus cripes, you people.
With time, I had hoped that they'd be able to adjust to their new situation. But it's only gotten worse.
Because they're hyper-obsessive about it now.
Look! It's Queen Sphene!
What the f... No. No. God damn it, am I not it? Have I lost my killing touch?
What?
Help, Queen Sphene! The grown-ups are really upset, and I don't know what to do.
Oftentimes as a child, you can't do anything.
I see that you are as kind-hearted as ever, Nico. Never fear. I'm here to set things aright.
I don't understand. Sphene is gone. Forever. You there, Gusson. You were the Queen's aide, weren't you? What's the meaning of this?
Begging your pardon, Vow of Resolve. But Her Majesty Queen Sphene is paying visit to her people, as is her wont.
I guess I was right about him.
What are you talking about? Sphene is dead. You officiated the funeral yourself. We all placed flowers to mourn her passing.
A funeral? For Her Majesty?
Uh-oh. I knew it.
What a curious jest. You know full well that ceremony was to commemorate those lives lost during the attack of Alexandria.
Ah, friggin' hell, I can't kill anything anymore.
Her Majesty walks among her people that she might support them in this most trying of times. Surely that is not cause for consternation.
We're gonna have to destroy the entire mainframe.
Your Majesty, won't you free us from these terrible memories of the departed? This is no way to live. Not for us, nor our children.
I wish that I could. Truly I do. But with living memory shut down, even I cannot restore the system that once afforded us that comfort.
Learn to live with it.
You needn't fret, however. I have prepared an alternate solution.
Is it death?
All of us shall be made endless.
Yeah, I thought so.
I have created a new system that allows you to transplant your memories directly into an ethereal vessel. One not reliant upon soul cells. This way, you need never again fear death. You may live as you please, and for as long as you like. Our stores of ether are, at present, not sufficient to provide this boon to everyone.
Oh, of course not. They never are.
But some of you received Neo-Regulators for the funeral ceremony, did you not? And there are still more we have yet to distribute. 5,000 in all.
Uh-huh, thought so.
One day soon, those with Neo-Regulators will be called to join the Endless, and thence be free of suffering forevermore.
But only 5,000 of us?
You Victral! The real Sphene would never be content to save only some of her people. Who are you?
I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
No reason there.
Let's return to the back room. I need to calm down, and then we'll talk. You're not taking my body. We only caught the proclamation from a distance, but I can tell you that the message about Neo-Regulators was received with utmost clarity. It couldn't have been Sphene. She should have been destroyed when the Meso terminal shut down. Without a single Alexandrian to bear witness, presented with an identical figure claiming to be their beloved queen, it is no surprise that they would choose to believe she's alive. What is troubling, however, is their denial that the funeral was held in her honor. 'Tis as if their memories have been erased. If only we had Shale to monitor what had been going on in the main system. Given that the members of Oblivion remain unaffected, that was likely the work of the Regulators, but by whose design?
someone smart enough to play it being the Queen of Reason. And that, guys, even if some suspect deception, most of Alexandria will be on her side. We need to find out who she really is. Next patch, I'm sure. While I agree wholeheartedly, we should avoid drawing more attention than we already have. We must be patient until Oblivion's network turns up a lead, or until our self-proclaimed queen makes her next move. 11s. Meanwhile, in living memory...
Where am I?
I don't recognize that voice.
My people? Are they safe?
Oh, never mind.
Why am I...
What's this gonna be, a tale of two fiends? In fear of death, the people turn to Queen Reborn, their fates to learn. As I suspected. Well, in that case, let me just change into this real quick. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, okay. There we go. Well, while the ad break plays, I'm gonna take care of something real quick and be right back. Then we move on to the other things. Alright then. First off, I figure we ought to work on open up the tribe. The tribal quests. The tribal quest first, so I can get a little bit of experience. Yeah, and the otherworldly encounter. Uh-oh. That was very late. Is the connection dying on me suddenly? Not here. Then I can at least open up the Alliance raid things. I doubt I'll get anywhere in them anyway, since I do not want to sign up for those as a tank as much faster as it might be. Let's see. Is the tribal quest going to be the bird folk? I already have a bird folk related tribe that I've maxed out. Maybe meeting with her won't be so easy after all. Mablu said she'd be around here somewhere, though. Looking for me? Whoa, Yuihime the Adventurer? The mighty warrior who traveled the length and breadth of Tural, taking in its myriad sights, sounds, and smells, even those within the otherworldly dome? The savvy haggler who helped the Third Promise acquire a saddle worth 10 pel in the thousands column, despite starting with a mere 100? Yeah, I don't like the sound of that. My inner abacus is clacking away. You're the missing piece I've been looking for. The missing piece of my brand new enterprise, that is. Well, I'd trust an enterprise from one of these folk over that from a Lalafell, that's for sure. Lalafells are swindlers. Sorry about that. I got a little carried away. I'm just so happy to finally meet you. I'm Lipu, a merchant. Until recently, my business was bedclothes, all woven from the finest alpaca wool. My dear friend Mablu told me all about you. I hear you gave her the nudge she needed to embark upon her journey as a peddler. I can't begin to thank you enough. Here's again. But I'll get straight to the point. I have a proposal for you today. How would you like to become a special advisor for a trailblazing tourism venture? I call it the Turali Travel Agency. TTA. Of course, you'll be compensated for your time. You'll also be the first in line for all kinds of treats and trinkets, not to mention a wealth of exciting experiences. You don't have to answer right away, but if any of this has roused your interest, please come and visit me in Okehanu. I refuse to call it what it actually is. I like Okehanu better. We can go over the finer details there. I'll be waiting for you along with the rest of my associates. But hey, nice to have some recognition. Yep, that's the tribal quest, alright. Still haven't changed that jingle. The birds fish, the birds plant, and the birds walk. Ah, there you are. Thank you for coming. Right, here goes. Oho Kali, welcome to Kozama Uka. Yep. Gotta remember my manners. You've mastered the Hanu Hanu greeting, but I wouldn't expect anything less from someone so well-traveled. Allow me to introduce myself again. I'm Lippu, the founder of the Turali Travel Agency. With me are my brother Yubli and my Hanu Hanu associates. We'll be happy to explain the ins and outs of our budding enterprise. You were there for the Ascension ceremony, weren't you? How could I not be? Dawn's servant Wuklamat spoke of growing to love her people all the more as she got to know them better, and how she wanted us to live with joy in our hearts and smiles on our faces. Well, those words certainly left their mark. The capital's residents are eager to learn about their fellow Turali, who in turn yearn to foster understanding. You see it too, don't you? An unmistakable business opportunity. Well, that's precisely where the Turali Travel Agency comes in. We'll answer that burgeoning demand. Our goal is to help revitalize this community as it attempts to rebuild after the Great Storm. Promoting Kozama Uka as a tourist destination will provide a much-needed source of income for the region, and with it, all the benefits that follow. Of course, we wouldn't be having this conversation had we not consulted the Hanu beforehand. After much discussion, they kindly agreed to set aside a tract of land by Doc Poga for development. And would you believe it? The villagers are flocking to join our staff. As Lippu said, the people are eager to learn about their fellow Turali, and we Hanu are eager to share our culture with them as well. Much as when you helped us to revive Ihihana, we hope to welcome many outsiders into our home, and that we may know one another better and enjoy each other's company. And what better way to do so than to support this tourism initiative? Come in and know me better, man! Of course, tourism is an industry new to Tural. This is unfamiliar territory in many respects, and people understandably have their concerns. But who better to assuage those concerns than someone who's roamed far and wide and met with countless Turali from all over the continent? At least this seems to be one of those tribes that I'm able to do combat with, and not to promote, and it's not a crafting one. The core of our business is providing accommodations and guided tours for the local area. As we speak, Wook Evu is putting his shipwright skills to use heading up construction for our base of operations by Doc Poga. From sourcing foodstuffs to souvenirs and everything in between, we're working hand in glove with the good people of Okehanu to make sure this venture benefits everyone involved. Still, there are a few things I'm worried about. The guided tours, for example. Visitors will journey here after making a reservation at our office in Tuyalol, and we'll have to guarantee their safety every step of the way. After all, we can't expect our customers to handle themselves like you can. And that leads us neatly back to my proposition. So how about it? Can we count on your help as a special advisor while the travel agency finds its feet? Consider yourself advised, especially. I'm special, that's for sure. Aha, I knew we could count on you. Wonderful, although I'm loath to put you to work straight away, I would seek your assistance. We guides have each devised a plan for our prospective tours based on our knowledge of our homeland, but we benefit greatly from the input of a worldly traveler like yourself. Honest opinions only. Lippu, perhaps you could accompany Yuhime and appraise the tours as well. I'll stay behind and oversee construction with Wook Evu. A fine idea. Guides, please wait in your respective tour locations. I will take Yuhime to each of you in turn. I feel like I'm about to be back in the Amazon. I'm glad you're here. I almost couldn't bear the wait. Right, let me explain my concept for the tour. First and foremost, I see this as a chance for our customers to understand we Hanu, and where better to learn that than right here among our reed fields. After all, reeds are at the very heart of our culture. Just cast your gaze across these lush fields and you'll get a sense of what defines us. But that's enough about my thoughts. What do you think? I should like to believe this is a place those not of the Hanu can also appreciate, but... Perhaps reeds shouldn't be the sole focus. The tour should absolutely involve the reeds, but as you may suggest, I think visitors will want to learn about other aspects of Hanu culture too. Perhaps giving them a tour of local settlements will serve as a worthy introduction to your traditions. Yes, I think the plan is coming along nicely. To summarize, if we begin by guiding guests around the villages, they'll see how reeds are so tightly interwoven with Hanu culture. That way, they'll appreciate the precious resource growing in your paddies all the more. I was so excited about showing visitors our fields, I hadn't considered that they might like to learn about the normal everyday lives of we Hanu too. I appreciate the suggestion. Consider also having a range of handicrafts on offer that visitors might purchase if so inclined, perhaps a mix of practical household items and more esoteric trinkets, charms, and the like. Alright, let's head for Breath Between next. Zelihali has proposed a walking tour of the river and ought to be waiting for us there. Care about your fates and never have, unless they were a requirement for some plot thing, like for how I got my golem. I completely lost track of time. My attention was whisked away by the endless waters of Kuuzage. If you didn't already know, Kuuzage means big tongue in our language. If you aren't careful, you might find yourself slurped up and taken off by the current. You know, I bet insights into the language like that would prove a hit with visitors. Glad you think so, but I'm still a little unsure of my plan. The idea is to guide guests along the river, explaining the language and local history as I go, but is that really enough entertainment? How about working in a spot of fishing? I see, offering activity besides sightseeing is a wonderful idea. I appreciate your advice. Whatever form the tour takes, I want to make sure our guests leave completely satisfied. I'll be sure to confer with Lippu as I hammer out the details. It's time we went to see Zenuhanu. He's proposed a magical spelunking tour in which visitors can marvel at the natural beauty of the world beneath our feet. To Cave Kikitola. Are there a lot of axolotls in there or something? Am I thinking of somewhere else? There you are. We're starting to feel lonesome waiting for you to arrive. Let's get straight to it, shall we? Cave Kikitola is the source of many minerals and medicinal ingredients. For generations, it's been held as a sacred site of healing. I'm sure visitors will be enamored with the cave's natural beauty, but the route here from the villages is long and arduous, and the interior is rather dark. I fear it might not be a suitable reward for the challenge of simply getting there. Let's see, symbolic importance in the splendid idea. Try their hand at collecting medicines and minerals. I suppose so. An excellent suggestion. Of course, with any such plans, respect for the cave and its significance for the Hanu would be paramount. The souvenirs we acquire in our journeys can be quite near and dear to us. I think visitors would love to take a piece of their trip back home, and the villagers can make use of any surplus materials as well. But as Zenuhanu said, the cave is somewhat remote. We can't discount the possibility of tour groups running afoul fiends on the way here. Perhaps we'd be better off reserving this course for more seasoned travelers. I must say the two of you are full of fine ideas. Starting to get excited. Just give me a little longer and I'll have my plan ready. Well, with that, we've heard all three proposals from our guides. I'm sure you're tired after all that traipsing around. But let's get back to OK Hanu, shall we? Okay. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time, but you helped address the guide's worries and brought some excellent suggestions to the table. While we were out there, a question I've been pondering came to mind. What exactly is it that we're selling with the Turali travel agency? It's not as simple as peddling produce or providing a service. If we're unsure, we'll have a hard time enticing customers. Well, that's for you to decide, I'm afraid. For the longest time, I couldn't pinpoint the answer, but hearing those proposals made it crystal clear. We're in the business of ephemeral experiences. Memory making? It's our responsibility to curate every moment of a visitor's stay and ensure they leave with wonderful memories that last a lifetime. Trying to get something out of my throat. It is our responsibility to curate every moment of a visitor's stay and ensure they leave with wonderful memories that last a lifetime. That way, our customers will be sure to fall in love with Kozama Uka and its people. Oh, the money again. I can practically hear my inner abacus clacking away. Provided we hold fast to our principles and remember that we're here to serve our customers above all else, I'm confident they'll have no qualms about parting with their hard-earned pel. The Turali Travel Agency will be synonymous with experiences both exceptional and unforgettable. I'll have to drive that message home when I promote our enterprise in the capital. Then there's the matter of making sure the benefits outweigh the burdens for the Hanu. Ah, there's so much to do. Before all that, how about we take a look at our soon-to-be built base of operations near Dak Poga? Knowing my brother and Wooka, I dare say they've made remarkable progress already. I already synced to this one. Ah, there we go. Apparently, they're ready to start construction. The blueprints have been finalized and all the materials are at hand. Once the work is finished, then the countdown really begins. Here's hoping to satisfy customers and, more importantly, happiness for all involved, be they Hanu, Pelu, or adventurer extraordinaire. It's so wonderful to have you on board. Let's work together and make this a stunning success. Ugh. Reminds me of the hippo cart place. What do you say we get this thing built? looking professional. Like a real tourist trap. Music, why are you getting louder? Yeah, that's it, alright. Take a quick look here. If there's the Arcasadora. There we go. Friendly. What do they even have that's worth getting here? I wonder. Yeah, it's always just that crap. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Have that. Anyway, let's see here. Accessories, others, here we are. Material that goes up, materia that goes up to 12. Oh, right, yeah, it expands the greater reputation I have with them. Hold on, is my model off? Nah, not really, nope. Let's see, around 30 minutes or so. Yeah, why the hell not? I just want to talk to them while looking like this. The helmeted serpent of Ronka. How in the world? How many screes are there? Oh yeah, this is it, alright. Say, aren't you Yuehime? That certainly saves me a lot of trouble. I was asked to find you on behalf of Milalja. Curious happenings abound in Mamuk of late, and we thought one of your world damn! One with your worldly experience may be able to help us make sense of things. Feels like something is savagely stuck down there. Or it could be that I'm just talking too much. Either way, just a moment. Inhaler used. Hope that works. If you have the time and inclination to aid us, she awaits you in Mamuk. You'll find her west of the plaza in the large building near the two-headed statue. I have this for the mount because I find it funny. Thank you for coming. Truth be told, I was unsure if I was right to call on you, but the troubles we now face cannot be overcome with our strength alone. It all began when we found a fallen traveler in the Skydeep cenote. For of mercy, his wounds were not life-threatening. His kind is not a common sight in these lands, tall and slender of build with pointed ears. He has yet to awaken, but speaks in his sleep of strange things that make little sense to us. It was our hope that you might recognize something in his ramblings, or perhaps even jog his memory once he regains consciousness. Might you be willing to speak with him? I suppose I ought to. Let me guess he's awake. Yep, the traveler stirs. Very good, if you'll be so kind as to bring him here. Love that armor. We're glad to see you awaken in good health besides. May I ask your name, traveler? My name? I'm sorry, I can't remember. It would seem the fall has affected his memory. In any case, his presence here is a complete mystery to us. His armor the only hint as to whence he came. Does anything about him strike you as out of the ordinary? Oh god, he's got the fused fingers for his gloves. Not much different from any other Elazin I've met. Or would that be Eldite? Elazin? Eldite? No, that's not quite right. Ah! I remember him. I'm an Elvan adventurer. Well, we have a species, at least. And you're a Mamulja. Could it be I've come to Mamuk? Wait, if I'm in Mamuk, then I must have been taken prisoner. To so readily believe us enemies, perhaps he comes from a land unfamiliar with our customs across the salt. I'm not so sure. We've no way to know for certain, in which case... See, Mila, we must gather our strongest fighters at once. Why? What's happened? Gulul Jaja's shade has returned. It's been sighted near Gokdrak Descent. Bakul Jaja has engaged the apparition, but I fear the worst. Wait, what? What are you talking about? I thought you had that sealed away in a jar. The vow of Resolve's champion from the feet of the Brotherhood. I suspect you would understand the graveness of the situation better than most. Oh, companion, my mistake. In recent days, the late Dawn Servant Shade has been seen wandering the woods of Yaktel. I have reason to believe it was involved in like manner to the one used in the feat. Only a privileged fool of the Bunewa should be privy to the knowledge required to perform the rite. The culprit would be found in time, but we have a more pressing matter in hand now. I must hurry and inform the Landsguard. Bakul Jaja requires reinforcements. Dawn Servant Shade. I fear he may not hold out until the guard assembles. That's what I'm for. I'm in your debt. Gokdruk Descent is to the west of here. Please go and help my son. Gulul Jaja. Don't you dare, boy. Caused it to remix and then just go back to what it was. I feel like I've already made Venture Brothers references about the blue morpho there, so I won't do so again. Gua. Huh, what do you know? It is his shade. Pathetic, and you dare call yourselves blessed siblings? Not bad. You might actually prove a challenge. If you come to help, best stay on your guard. He's not alone. What? Whoa. Very weird outfit. What's this? Another monster in need of slaying? Don't worry, I'll send them packing. Here I go. Nullifying dropkick. Oh, no you don't. Oh, he done it. He stole. Can't explain why, but something told me I had to be here. Ha, not bad. Not bad at all. But it'll take more than a couple of Taurus to stop me. Taurus, are you daft, girl? You can speak. A shame you don't seem to have any manners. The name's Prishy. You do well to remember it. Prishy? Prishay. Ha ha ha. Looks like I win. Oh. Clouded vision. One Taurus down, one to go. I hope you're ready. Yeah, at ease, Prishay. We have seen to our task. Come. Whatever you say, Olmia. Olmia? What is she talking about? Oh, please. Like he could go through so small a hole. Prishy, wait, please don't go. I'm guessing word of the Dawn Servant Shade is what brought you here. I don't know what that girl has to do with all this, but clearly she's aligned with whoever summoned them. The way remains open, though there's no telling where it leads. Even so, they cannot be allowed to return. We have a duty to protect this forest, and I'll not see it torn apart by some two-headed imposter. Let's hurry after them, brother. Watch over that one, won't you? Probably not a good idea. Prishy, what's happened to you? Oh, she got some funny contacts in. Everything's still hazy, but I recall fighting alongside that girl. We were comrades in arms, I think. And something was clearly wrong with her. She not only mistook me for a monster, but she called her two-headed companion Olmia. The Olmia I know is an elven woman, a far cry from the reptilian fiend we encountered. Something dark has taken hold of her, clouded her mind. I have to go and... Yep, thought so. Not going anywhere with those wounds. But she needs me. That's what I'm here for. You would go in my stead? I know not how to thank you. Camera, please. I recognize that look, the eyes of a woman who's seen more than their fair share of battle. Despite what Prishay has done, she was a dear friend to me, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, don't kill her, I got it. Have care, friend, there's no telling what lies beyond that portal. There it is. Oh wait, a regular duty? Nope, that's a raid. Let's see. Yeah, that's a raid. Let's see here. What does it need? 695. So even if I did try to use my paladin, I couldn't get in anyway. So much for that then. Those two are play acting there. Well, I suppose that's that then. Suppose my throat will now need resting from this. But who to go to? Sure. We'll see Lum. I was kind of curious what Animal Well was like. I thought it was that thing that Donkey made, but I guess not. Right then. All set to go. Hope I'll be in a better mood for Mario and Luigi tomorrow. And if not, well, I can swap it around with my fourth thing that I can't recall at the moment. At any rate, we've arrived at our destination. Please watch your step as you disembark. Please follow if you liked. Thanks for watching. Peace be with you, and may the forces of evil be confused on the way to your home. Bye.